Panama.
It's been a while.
16 years, in fact.
This is their first match against Panama.
But a new day
brings a new challenge. The World Cup is on the line.
And every minute matters.
Every minute matters. Hey, USA, are you with us?
Today's pregame show is brought to you by AT&T. Temperatures in the mid-80s, no threat of rain today in Cary, North Carolina, as the U.S. women's national team continues their way through the CONCACAF Women's Championship, which serves as qualifying for next summer's Women's World Cup. 3 direct tickets to France up for grabs. The defending World Cup champs certainly expect to claim one come next Sunday here on FS1. The United States, they got 5 second-half goals Thursday en route to an eventual 6-0 victory over Mexico in their Group A opener. Tonight, the Americans, they take on Panama, who also won their first match via a shutout. We welcome you to Fox Sports live coverage of the U.S. women's national team. Glad you're with us today. Rob Stone, Alexia Lawless, 2015 Women's World Cup champ Megan Klingberg joining us as well. And the big news out of the U.S. camp tonight, wholesale changes with ideally 5 games in 14 days. Jill Ellis makes 9 changes to the starting 11 from the other day. How much of an impact do you think that's going to have on today's game?
Take that completely aside. Take away the changes. The U.S. needs to impose their style on the game, and that style is pressure. That style is high pressure all over the pitch, putting Panama under stress so they can win the ball back in good spots. U.S. needs to move the ball fast today. They need to move it around to make sure to get around Panama's bunker, and they just need to make sure they play to what they can do and focus on themselves.
And it plays to one of their strengths, depth with this roster. Big picture, though, out there, Lex.
Well, look, this is all prelude, we know, for the World Cup. But none of these players, and certainly not Jill Ellis, are taking this for granted. Jill Ellis is a student of the game in that she sees games that are played now and in the past, and she can take something from it. And she understands history. So when she looks at the U.S. men's team that didn't qualify for the World Cup in a historic and epic failure, when she looks at the German men's national team that bombed out as defending champions this summer, when she even looks back to 2011 when we were qualifying for the Women's World Cup and we had to go through a playoff, she will say, you know what? Nothing is for granted. We are going to go out, we are going to get 3 points, we are going to get to the World Cup, and then we are going to defend it. But we are not going to rest on our laurels, and we're certainly not going to take anything for granted, even against a team like Panama that they should be. And this is a team coached by Victor Suarez. You know what that means, Rob Stone?
Youth.
Youth all over the field, starting a 17-year-old in goal, Yanith Bailey. They also have a 16-year-old in the back line with Hain. They also have a 16-year-old in the midfield with Quintero. So lots of youth out there. I think they are going to withstand the onslaught that is coming from the U.S. and just try to limit the damage out there tonight.
That is a bunker lineup, 4-4-1-1. As for the #1 ranked team in the world, here's how they start, Meg.
As we talked about earlier, there's 9 changes to the lineup, and the biggest one is Haley Mace in the back, 21 years old, getting her first start in a Women's World Cup qualifier. Ellis has a lot of trust in her. Let's look at the midfield core. There's no true number 10 in there. No Lindsey Horan, no Rose Lavelle to kind of get the offense going. So I'll be looking to this core to get the game rolling, keep the ball moving fast, and let's see how they do.
Carly Lloyd will be wearing the number 10 and the captain's armband for this one as well. The U.S. and their 22-game unbeaten streak have loads of star power coming their way on the bench. But up next, they flex their depth as they continue their hunt to earn a ticket to the World Cup.
This is just the second all-time meeting between the USA and Panama. Only other meeting, 2002, a 9-0 win. Soon to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Tiffany Milbert had 5 goals in that one. 3 assists for my color commentator, Allie Wagner, who was still in college at that time and left, I guess, the next day to play for a college team. We're underway from Cary, North Carolina. USA in the white with the red and blue trim. Panama in all red. Casey Short, first one back on it. Since the referee had the flag over this near side, so that ball was out. Be a throw-in for Panama, who surprised, I think, all of CONCACAF, not only by beating Trinidad and Tobago, Allie, but by a 3-0 score.
Yeah, and the way they went about it, they were the better team on that day. I think the scoreline reflected it. But what's catching me right away, JP, is that the U.S. is starting with double nines, it looks like, with Haley Mace, who's running down that ball.
Still running after it against Yenneith Bailey, the goalkeeper. Tried to clear to the sideline. That ball was out. So Mace has played as a forward. She plays her now at UCLA. Started as a center back. That's where Jill Ellis seemed to fancy her. But right now she's up. Swing and a partial miss as the U.S. collects on this right side of the field. Keep possession, sent in. Oh, Lloyd was wide open. Ball never got to her. Hertz tried to get it. One of only 2 starters from the Mexico game that are starting this afternoon. Dahlkemper, she's the other. For Press, who brings it down. Kristen Press holding there. Going inside, she tried to find Lloyd. Knocked away. Panama with it. Upfield it comes, intended for Cox. That's blocked. Chipped ahead. That was by Ertz. Lloyd nodding it down. First pick up there on that right side. That's Mallory Pugh, the 20-year-old. Ball pushed back. And Sana was tripped up. Panama trying to come back on that left side. All the numbers that Panama had the other day against Trinidad and Tobago, they're not expecting to duplicate, certainly in this one, whether it's goals, shots, or any other stat. Would like to keep the scoring down, though, for the U.S. For goal differential reasons. Played in. That's off Lloyd. And out for a goal kick.
Well, that was something that Victor Suarez talked to us about yesterday, is that he wanted to keep the scoreline closer than Mexico did to give themselves a nice position heading into that third game, with the assumption, I suppose, that they wouldn't get the 3 points today. As we get a look at the U.S., they're going to use this maximum width here with those double nines, and it's Kristen Press who's sitting on that left flank that flights this one in. And now with Carly Lloyd being on the one that gets on the end of it, you also have Haley Mace, who can be another target in there with those double nines. This is just a wrinkle that Jill Ellis has talked to us about, looking at for situational play when they perhaps need to push to get goals in certain matches. I don't think this is something that they're looking to do usually starting out a match.
Casey Short plays in the NWSL with the Chicago Red Stars. She, like several players in the starting 11, bouncing back from injuries that they've suffered during the course of the season. Right flank, driven in. Hugh with the service. Comes back out. Mewis, knocked down. Free kick. And if you're Panama, you're giving one up there in a pretty dangerous spot.
And again, that was something that Suarez warned his team about. You don't want to concede penalties in around the 18 against this U.S. side that's so dynamic on set pieces. As you get a look there as Cox comes in from behind on Mewis. But you don't have Rapinoe in the match to take it. It looks like Sam Mewis might be one of the players now that can step up to these dead ball situations.
26-year-old plays locally here with the North Carolina Courage, NWSL champions. This is about 23, maybe 23 and a half yards away for Mewis. Wall is set. The whistle, Mewis looking. That's a deflected ball. And I think Bailey may have gotten a piece, so did the crossbar. It's a corner, U.S.
I think you're right, JP. The deflection actually took it into the path of Bailey, who was reading that initial ball, trying to dip down, and she does get a hand to it. The young 17-year-old comes up on that one strong enough.
Kristen Press with an opportunity here on this corner kick. You mentioned Rapinoe taking free kicks, usually for the U.S. and corners. She's not playing tonight, not starting. Knotted down and off the bar and in. The U.S. has struck first. The U.S. The last thing Panama wanted to do, concede early.
Then off a set piece nonetheless. This time it's Kristen Press who just drives that one in towards the top of the 6. And Sam Mewis has the height advantage. You can see it there and times it incredibly well. She just glances in front of her player and then gets between those two defenders right at the 6. And a nice snappy header glancing it into that far post.
Mewis, one of those players, missed a lot of games this year for both club and country. Was a starter before the injuries. In fact, second in minutes played last year to Becky Sauerbrunn. He's trying to get more minutes on this current squad.
She really started to return to form at the end of the NWSL season.
Press knotting it down to Morgan Bryan. Cox for Panama. Off the throw-in. Off Cox. Here's Lloyd taking over. Mewis, who has the game's only goal, cutting it. That's blocked. Mills was broken up. Panama getting it back. They'll need to do a better job keeping the ball. Certainly better than Mexico did the other night. Let's go downstairs. We talked about Samantha Mewis. For more on her, Alex Curry.
A unique year for Samantha Mewis coming off her injury. She didn't have a starting spot given right back to her, and she had to see the season from a different perspective. She said she learned so much on how to play that different role and what it takes to be a reserve because she had to watch a lot of soccer rather than playing it. But she said it was an important step for her to understand what it takes to come back from an injury. The bottom line is she's just so grateful to be playing and has a new perspective of the game.
Thank you, Alex. Corner kick again. Let's see if Mewis is a target once more for Kristen Press. She wants to set it up quickly, so they'll go short to short. But Casey short, and that's cleared out. Last touched by Quintero. Panama wasn't ready for that.
Not at all, and I'm watching them now. They didn't even seem to learn from that lesson. Their heads were all turned away again.
Good job by Press to change that corner. Press will go again. 104 caps. This is her 105th appearance. Drives it across. Headed straight up. Second ball. Short. Got to it. Headed away. It's too far away for Batista. In the circle, it's Dahlkemper. Try to get some width for Press, but it's going to be cleared out of play. Last touch by Alvarado.
And you're seeing it, JP, with that width from the U.S., those diagonal balls from Dahlkemper and Sonnet will be pinged into those wide areas. Press and Pugh are responsible for holding that space and allowing it to develop interior on the inside, excuse me.
Victor Suarez knows this is going to be a tough matchup for his side. It's going to be a lot of experience for a lot of his younger players. They're about 6 or 7 years younger than the U.S. collectively. 8 teenagers on the squad, 3 in the starting 11, including a 17-year-old goalkeeper. Lloyd cutting inside and then went down. Did she sell it? She did not. Cleared away up the left side to Murillo. No room there. U.S. getting it back quickly. Well, the less possession that Panama has, the more defending they're going to have to do. It's going to be tough for them if that's the case.
Yeah, but I do credit the way in which they want to play, and they're not just going to lump it forward. They are trying to find their outlets. Typically, that is going to be number 10, Cox. And they usually get into those wide areas. They have the 1v1 personalities, but right now the U.S. is closing down those spaces so quickly.
Cox trying to win that battle. Drew the foul on the U.S. Free kick, Panama. And in all of these situations, they should be taking their time. Slow the game down.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get a good look at the little clip there on Cox. She's got a couple defenders coming around her. I think she did well to sell it, in fact. It's good gamesmanship. You talk about learning from this type of match for Panama and these young players. Those are little nuances that you can pick up and take with you.
Panama ranked number 66 by FIFA, 7th in the CONCACAF region. Press bringing it down. The U.S. has the game's only goal. Morgan Bryan will push it right. Mills defends. Picks up on Sonnet. Mewis keeps it moving on that right sideline. Mallory Pugh can do some damage there. Great dribbling skills. Slow down. So she has some similar qualities from Rose Lavelle, who we saw the other night. Rose on the subs bench this evening or this afternoon. Short. Blocked. It's cleared away by Castillo. Dahlkemper back. Sonnet plays for the Portland Thorns of the NWSL. Going long for Lloyd. Carly got to it, but the flag was up. Lloyd brought up front three with Pugh and Press.
And it's a really good ball by Emily Sonnet. Looks like she's onside there. I think that's a wrong call. Nonetheless, it doesn't go in. But that's a connection you'll probably look to see more often. Those balls fly in the box for Carly Lloyd. One of her strengths is in the air, and they want to take advantage of that.
Lloyd's played in every game this year for the U.S. Most of those games off the bench. Just her fourth start. Coming all the way back. Harris. Last time the U.S. scored was last October in this stadium for the U.S. So she gets one here, the only one so far.
She likes being at home.
Thought that ball was out. It was. Throwing for Panama. That is Jill Ellis. 9 changes she made. And how many teams, Allie, in the women's game could make 9 changes and still have a lineup like this?
0.
That's, you're not exaggerating.
No, I'm not.
I mean, 9 is a lot of changes, and perhaps Ertz and Dahlkemper may not play 90. We'll see how that goes.
Well, rotation will benefit this squad and the ability to do so, to go deep in this tournament.
The players on this field are really auditioning, in a way, for more minutes. They would love to be full-time starters. Lloyd, Press, Casey Short. 13th minute, a 1-0 USA lead. Mace has dropped back now. Finding Dahlkemper. Sonnet higher up. Touch by Mewis, who's moving that ball quickly. Mallory Pugh, end line, driving it across. It's off Kristen Press. Mills goes for it on the left, pulling it back against Pugh. Zone played it forward. Knocked away, but the foul was given there to the U.S. U.S. coming off a 6-0 win over Mexico. A scoreline that not a lot of people, Allie, predicted. Certainly a win, but not the score.
No, and the way they dominated that match, I think I did not anticipate it. The way we saw those April friendlies play out, Mexico looked like they had more of a thrust going forward, and that just wasn't their game plan the other night. They wanted to sit back, soak up pressure, I think perhaps steal one in the end, and it just didn't play out that way. And I think he changed things a little too late, bringing on Katie Johnson. I think she's one of their brightest players, and the U.S. benefited from it.
We're going to rebound in our second game tonight on FS2. Mexico versus Trinidad and Tobago. Here's Morgan Bryant. Cutting to the outside, slowed down a bit there, but gets to it. The cross there, Lloyd, header save. Rebound Lloyd, off the post. She had 2 cracks at it. Normally she only needs 1. Cox bringing it down for Panama. You can see it animated. Victor Suarez, he wanted them to push up that sideline because for at least a split second it was open.
Yep, and that's where their outlet can be when the U.S. rotates up high.
2 great chances for Lloyd.
2 great saves from Bailey, too. And the quick reactions.
Morgan Bryant did well on that cross and just beating those defenders initially. Pugh. Taken down, no foul given. Gathered in by Pinzon. Murillo's pass back to Pinzon, making her second straight start. Ertz for Casey Short. Bryant tried to find Short. It's cut off and cleared by Quintero. Pulled back by Cox. Mills had 1 assist the other night. 4 chances created against Trinidad and Tobago. They too, Trinidad and Tobago, need a bounce-back game when they take on Mexico. Ertz. Anchoring things as the holding midfielder. Press takes a turn in the middle. This is what they want. More player movement, more ball movement. They find it. That's Pugh, and the offside flag goes up. First time Pugh has been on this left side. First time Press was up the middle, and they almost clicked.
Yeah, and Press, in fact, was checking back into midfield. That's the freedom with this group and how they can play off one another. This is a look at Lloyd's 2 chances there with Bailey coming up big. I mean, that second one to get up and make that reaction save Again, she's only 17. Here's the ball that was clipped into her. It was Bryan who played it. And Lloyd has a nice pocket of space in and around that 6. I think they're going to continue to look to feed her there. Typically, she puts those away, as you said, JP. Jill can't believe it.
Yeah. The injured player is the goalkeeper, Yenith Bailey. The backup, ironically, has a lot more experience. She's 29, the oldest player of the squad, Farisa Cordoba. But Victor Suarez has been going with youth. And Suarez, one of the things about him, not only is he coaching this team, he's also the technical director of all of the age groups in Panama. So you would assume, Ali, that they'll be playing a similar style and he'll see the younger players growing.
Yeah, and he also spoke to how he's been bringing in all these players, that 6 of them were from league play and that other ones were coming through the ranks. And sometimes he had to go out and just scout throughout Panama to find the occasional player. And how now that they have a league, it's really helping their development. They've had him for 1 year already. It started just the other day this season. And he thinks it's going to be key to their growth. They have 16 teams. It's 2 divisions. They want to collapse it into 1. But ultimately, it's about getting these players playing time continuously where they can be fit, where they can learn the tactics that he wants. And you see it tonight. I mean, it makes me smile when I'm watching them try to play out of the U.S.'s pressure. That's brave in this situation, and he's clearly trying to get them to learn how they can go up against the best and not be afraid. This is Morgan Bryan just going down the flank. I mean, she just dices up her defender. We're seeing this on the left flank a lot. And then Lloyd not able to put away either. Looks, but Murillo clears it in the end. And the U.S. continues to pin him in those situations.
Panama will put it back into play. On Yomira Pinzon. Club team is Atlético Nacional of Panama. They were the champions this year, playoffs. Press has it blocked. The last touch by Panama. Casey Short will have this throw-in. She'll go back the other way to Mace. Senior at UCLA. Took the spot of Tierna Davidson of Stanford, who would have been on the squad, but had an ankle injury, a left ankle injury, that took her out of this tournament. It happened during her collegiate season. Press on the left. 1 against 2 at the moment. Looks for a better passing angle. Finds it up there, but it's knocked away by Bailey, and she's down again, as is a U.S. player. The training staffs are coming out. It is Morgan Bryan who's down. For a 17-year-old goalkeeper, Bailey is very aggressive coming off her line. That's great.
Really active, and she read this one well. Mewis has done a nice job thus far, just spraying the ball about the pitch. And it's Kristen Press who catches the darting run of Morgan Bryan coming out. And you see Bailey, 2-hand punch there. I think she catches Bryan in the head with this. Looks like her elbow catches Bryan in the head, and I'm not sure where Bailey gets it. That doesn't look good for Bryan.
With full force, she took that one. And they'll take their time with her. Bailey still, that could have been also from the first time when she went down. That's the second time the training staff has looked at her. If you're just joining us, it's a 1-0 lead. Sam Mewis, a goal in the 5th minute. It's her 8th international goal. Kristen Press with the assist, and Bryan appears to be okay. She's had a good start to this game, Morgan Bryan.
Yeah, has been active, and I think something that's so important, and Klingenberg talked about in the pregame, is without a true 10 out there, the ability of these midfielders to perhaps make those late runs, to just keep the ball rolling side to side and dictate play. As we look at Mewis' finish there, just really clean on that one. The ability of the mids to continue to do that and pressure Panama in a variety of ways, as opposed to spinning in the half space, as opposed to breaking him down with the final ball. It's a wrinkle they're going to have to key in on tonight.
Free Tatiana Guzman of Nicaragua. She's just going to put it down for the goalkeeper, apparently. Yenith Bailey, coming off a shutout win over Trinidad and Tobago on Thursday, sends this one long. Knocked away by Mace. Short trying to keep that in. Could not. It's going to be a throw-in for Catherine Castillo. One of these players play in the same club team, so that has helped with Panama's chemistry. Alvarado will take this throw in. Press and short, helping. Bryant pushing it to the right. That's going to go out. Panama's ball, throw in far side. Quickly, it's Murillo for Mills. Talia Mills trying to go forward. U.S. is back with the ball. U.S. for short. Driven ball towards press. Taps it forward. There's Mewis looking and checked it. Offside netting. Good idea, though, from Press.
Such a good ball by Press. And again, it's that late run out of midfield from Sam Mewis. You can see her just staggered there in behind. And the recognition that that gap is wide open and there for the taking. She's just trying to near post Bailey there. Doesn't get around it.
Back to live action. USA throw in for Casey Short. He's overcome a couple of knee injuries. He's played professionally overseas in Norway. She looks to get it back off the U.S. ball. Short. Blocked. Cleared out. It's going to be off Castillo. And Press will go over to take a corner. Today's telecast, the USA versus Panama, is sponsored by AT&T. Earlier, corner by Press resulted in the game's only goal off the head of Mewis. She looks again, back post area, and that's the puck good end. Carly Lloyd, 2-0. Set pieces are killing Panama.
And you go back to Castillo not being able to turn her hips and get that ball out up the field when she gifted the U.S. this corner kick they just took. It's another learning experience for them. This ball again by Kristen Press, beautifully weighted in that back post. Carly Lloyd, great timing on that. Just drifts into open space. You can see how easily she beats Mills to get open.
USA goal in the 23rd.
And then it looks like Hine isn't able to close her down. Nor is Bailey. She's caught off her line. She tries to get a hand to it, but too much power. Too much precision from Lloyd there. 2-0.
103rd goal for Carly Lloyd after missing on 2 great chances earlier in the game. So during the run of play, it's scoreless, but thanks to 2 corner kicks, 2-0, and the U.S. is looking now for more. Off her line is Bailey.
Press has been on early in this match. I've liked a couple of her balls, even just to solve pressure, the decision she's making, and then set-piece delivery has been on point as well.
Press, another versatile player, 45 international goals. She'll play up high in different formations, out wide as well. Ball cut inside. Pew! Saved by Bailey. That's terrific. What a save by the teenager. Especially now after you've given up that second goal.
She might just be the story thus far, even though the U.S. is sitting up 2-0.
Press cutting into the middle. Across for Sonnet. It's intercepted. Sonnet may get it back. She does as she clips it ahead. Possession will be lost. It's going to go out of play. Again, Bailey's already had a good start to this game despite giving up 2 goals. Robbing Pugh.
This is going to be a look at her save again. It's nice interplay between those 3 players. Pugh gets free in open space. And I don't know if that one even comes off her gloves. It looks like it might have been off of her face. She went to ground. Nonetheless, credit that as a big save. Unorthodox.
USA on the ball with a 2-0 lead on goals by Mewis and Lloyd. Ball cut back by Mace. Dahlkemper. US will go far right. Wide for Bryant. Morgan Bryant will hold it. Dropping it back. Pugh edge of the box. Going inside Mewis on the turn. Mewis looking. Couldn't create there. Marked by Pinzon. Bryant runs into Mewis. Gets possession back to Sonnet. Drives it across with authority. Too hard off Lloyd. who almost trapped that ball. Cox lost it as he tried to hold up play. That's knocked away. Short, first one on the ball. She and Ertz together. Back to Dahlkemper. Back and forth with Ertz. The Dahlkemper feed off Pugh. Mills. And that's knocked away. It's not a pace of play that Panama wants to deal with. Too fast.
Nor the left side. I mean, the U.S. has been really getting down the left flank with Kristen Press. Most of the attack filtering down there. I think getting Pugh more involved will benefit the U.S. But with Panama, JP, to your point, they are having to collapse so many numbers centrally, they can't even find an outlet. They can't spring anyone because everyone's tucked in, and they can't solve it. And I would say that's what we anticipated coming in.
Not much that Victor Suarez can do, unlike his counterparts that we saw on Thursday. He can't really go to his bench and change things like Mexico could, right? Mexico had experienced players, different players on their bench. These are his best players. He only made one change from the last game, whereas Jill Ellis went with rest and recovery and rotation for this.
Fair point. I think Ronhell would be the only player that he could potentially bring in if she is, in fact, fully fit. But even that's not going to change the game much.
Press. Back inside the circle for Morgan Bryant. Pugh loves to take that and cut inside. Could not that time, but knocked out by Panama. Another USA corner.
And that's just good defending by Maria. She closed as that ball was traveling, put Pugh under pressure with that initial touch.
The big targets go forward. Ertz, Lewis, Lloyd. Pugh will take this from the far side of the stadium. Pugh will drive it across. Looking for Ertz. Mace drives it low. Bobbled, but held on to by Bailey. They scored 15 goals last year at UCLA. Her first year as a forward.
And why not in your first cap? When this ball lands out right outside the 18, you got a clear line. Bailey covers that one up.
Off Alvarado. Short from U.S. The U.S. with a 2-0 lead. Lloyd. On that right side, everybody going forward for the USA. Ertz. Mace. Short. Lloyd. Holding it up well. Now goes toward goal. Lloyd looking, shooting, right to the goal. 3-0 USA. 2 for Carly Lloyd.
This is just an exceptional goal, JP, and it starts with Casey Short taking that first touch to beat the first line of pressure, and then this cutting ball. Look at Lloyd just sitting off that line, senses the pressure, and then rolls her, beats that defender right there with a little hesitation. And that's a sweet finish. No movement on that ball, it looks like at first glance. I love this turn there. Just shivvies the hips and then slides by that second recovering defender. Bailey can't get anything on that.
That is tough to defend, even for an experienced back line.
And it's not the best defense, obviously, but it's fair enough. I mean, that's a great move.
In zone, trying to go long. Panama needs to get out of this half with minimal damage, and now they've conceded a third goal. Mexico coming up on FS2 versus Trinidad and Tobago. That's at 7:30 tonight. Knocked away. USA will recover with Ertz. USA number 1, Group A, followed by Panama. These were the 3 points, but goal differential was in the USA's favor. Mace from Ertz. It was dropped back deeper. Mace tried to recover after losing it. Held up there by Riley. Riley's one of their better players, but she's had so few touches so far. Morgan Bryant. Valerie Pugh against Murillo. Pugh squaring it. Mewis. Will she? She tried. Blocked, though, by Pinzon. Headed back by Ertz. Mace. Dahlkemper. Mewis. Here's Lloyd. Stepping behind the defense. Lloyd. Taken off her foot by Bailey. She continues to impress. She's not playing like a 17-year-old in goal. She's not.
It is impressive. Lloyd just trying to glide by her there. Bailey goes to ground early, picks that one off. But Lloyd's been active on that front line with her positioning, and Mewis slipped her in on that one. There's a good connection brewing there.
Meanwhile, Panama's ready to make a sub. Kenya Rangel is one of their better players. Is getting ready to come in. This is up by the fourth official. It's a dangerous ball back, especially when it had no pace on it. Straight ahead. Press. Can she beat two? She's already behind both. Kristen Press into the box. Press fakes, looks. That's empty. Goal for Kristen Press. And that's after Panama had clear possession in the attacking third.
But their center back had stepped out, and this is great recognition by the U.S. When you win it in this area, yes, it's a poor giveaway by Quintero, but that first ball that just penetrates, pierces the lines, beats everyone, and then you see the pace of Press, her ability to pull away. She sends Bailey to ground with a little hesitation and then roofs it. Great finish by her. You can see she's surveying the situation and knows where she wants to go. She doesn't have to look up once she beats Bailey. The goal's not moving. This ball, however, is once it pops off her foot.
I want to see, Ali, what Panama is doing as we see the last touch by Press. They're taking out Alvarado, who was an outside back, and bringing in Kenya Rangel, who was anything but that.
They could be moving Castillo into the back line. She started an outside back in that first match against Trinidad and Tobago, but we'll see.
We don't know why Rangel was not starting today, whether it was a slight injury or rest and recovery, but she's out there now.
It does look, in fact, as though Castillo slid into that right back spot.
There's a foul upfield. Maybe some frustration on the part of Cox for Panama.
And JP, with Alvarado coming out, she was getting torched by Press, so that could be part of it.
Fourth minute. Last look at the foul. Your take on how this game has played out for those just tuning in?
As expected. The U.S. dominating thus far, really stretching the pitch with Pugh and Press staying wide. But I think what's impressed me the most is those center mids. Right there, Mewis receiving in the half space. Their runs out of midfield, the timing that is evolving with those runs. It's been bright for the U.S., the recognition of where the space is.
Cox played it forward. And it's taken away off Rangel. Might have been a chance for them to go forward and create something against Ashlyn Harris, who got the start in goal for the USA. Much like Alyssa Nair the other night, she's not been tested. The U.S. didn't even allow a shot until the 48th minute against Mexico, and that shot wasn't on target. Casey Short inside the circle. Try to play it to Mace. Instead it goes for Sonnet. Bryant. Boyd. Cut off. Another dangerous ball back, but it's blasted away by Pinzon. On the chase, far side. Riley. Carla Riley, 21-year-old. Drops it back for Mills. Into the middle it comes. Quintero. Oh, Rangel took her eye off of it. Tries to recover against Short, but it's played up to Press, and immediately, as Press won that ball, numbers went forward for the U.S., including Lloyd, who looks to go on the receiving end. Bailey was going to come out, and just gets there. The U.S. is immediately looking to play forward as soon as they win the ball.
As they should, because they knew coming into today's match that more than likely Panama was going to try to play out of everything. That is their style. And they were willing to succumb playing this style. And when they do that, they're setting numbers forward, and there's a lot of space to be had. But I also think that's in the U.S.'s DNA.
In zone. Tries to go long. Headed for Mills. Short got it. And now it's Mace. Dahlkemper. 37th minute. Cary, North Carolina. Salem Stadium. USA dominating as expected. A 4-0 lead. 2 goals by Carly Lloyd. 1 for Sam Ewis. 1 for Kristen Press. In zone. Another long ball. Those are not even hopeful. They didn't have a striker close to that ball.
Just frustration, more than likely. But they have picked up since Rangel entered the match. He moved Castillo into that back line.
Ertz. Well received. Mallory Pugh. Tried to find Lloyd. That's on the wrong side of Carly. Cox left it off. Pushed up. Lost by Riley. Morgan Bryan on the turn. Sonnet. Dahlkemper. 38th minute, 4-0 lead for the U.S. Wide open was Press, no one near. Now they'll try to close her down. She'll drift towards the middle. Into the box it comes. It'll bounce true to Bailey.
Part of the reason Press is so open, JP, is Casey Short's tucking inside, so that midfield 4 is staying tight to her, and then the outside back is stepping towards Sam Ewis. So it's really that overload in that central wide zone on this left side that is allowing that space for Kristen Press.
Foul in the U.S. Player down is Carla Riley. Riley has 3 goals scored in World Cup qualifying.
Which is going to be one of their outlets all day long, trying to hold up that ball and relieve it. You're seeing occasionally that when they can play the way they're facing and they get that support underneath, they can solve the initial wave of pressure from the U.S.
U.S. turning, finding Press in the middle, a crowded middle. Press with a long ball, too long. Intended for Mallory Pugh. Good distribution from Bailey. Try to jumpstart the offense. Batista. Broken up. Morgan Bryan. Kept it rolling for Lloyd. Holding it up. Waits for runners. Finds one in Press. Saved by Bailey. Good overall awareness from Carly Lloyd to know where and when those runners were coming.
Yeah, she's being a strong target there. Just swivels her hips to switch the point. But Bailey, again, it's a really good save. Yeah, it's at that savable height that's not too far in the corner, but still she comes up big because she has to adjust back.
The U.S. was talking about how thrilled they were with their front 3 that hasn't been playing lately. Morgan, Rapinoe, and Heath. Front 3 tonight are playing very well also, together and individually.
And there's a lot of space. And I think quality-wise, the ability to go 1v1, they've got the upper hand all night.
That was off the chest of Riley. Pugh tried to play it quickly for Lloyd. It was open. Pugh bounces off a challenge. Tries to find Lloyd. That's cut off by Pinzon. 40th minute. Rangel clipping it. Has that speed, you can see, but Short does well. Using her body to keep Rangel away from the ball.
First touch?
It was. Mewis. Dahlkemper. That's Morgan Bryan getting it wide for Mallory Pugh. Abby Dahlkemper, NWSL Best 11 last 2 years. Defender of the Year in 2017 for the entire league. Mace across the way. It's a long run for Sonnet. She got up to it. Good hustle. Bryan and Pugh working together. And Mewis kept it low for Lloyd. Cut off by Pinzone, but recovered by the U.S. Quickly to short. Even quicker for Lloyd. Lloyd with a cut inside, looking for a third. Save off the foot. Rebound to Bryan. Couldn't get to it. Not cleanly anyway. Sent away by Castillo. A lot of chances tonight for Carly Lloyd. She's converted on 2 of them. That's blocked. Ertz, it's deflected out. Another USA corner.
It's all a bit easy right now for the U.S. This ball just laid in stride for Carly Lloyd. She cuts her defender simply. But Bailey again with the save. I know the U.S. is making her look good by putting those in those savable areas, but nonetheless, she is staying strong.
U.S. have scored 2 of their 4 off of corners. Mallory Pugh with this delivery. Lloyd was sitting, it was over her. It's settled. It's Bryan. Foot save again for Bailey. And some of it, yes, it's awkward, right? But it's a save for her. Well done.
In fact, brilliant on this one.
If you stop it, it's well done.
This is amazing. And it's a really good service coming in from Pugh from the corner. And just a half volley, but Bailey reacts well. I mean, that's a kick save. Look at her eyeing it up, and it comes through traffic.
Collision there, picked up by Mace. But one thing for sure, Bailey's not happy about 4 goals conceded by her team, but she's not thinking about any of those that have gone in. She's playing each save. She's not down at all.
She's thinking about her highlight reel right now.
It's looking good. Impressive. 43rd minute. Lloyd. U.S. looks for more. Presses wide open. Tough angle, though. Slowed down and then cut off and cleared away by Castillo. Well, it doesn't matter who's playing on that side. Press is always open. Now it's Short. She and Press interchange. Casey Short cutting. Press wanting to turn. Pulls it back. Went down on her own, it looked like. Castillo's on the ball. Runhell. Cox, this time out wide. Too far. Played to feet and into space, but not close enough to Runhell.
But even that lively from Runhell, really smart movement there in the half space to open up and be the outlet to get a little bit of pressure relief for Panama, at least for a half second or so.
Panama getting it back. We'll see more of what took place in this first half coming up at halftime. Rob Stone, Alexi Lalas, Megan Klingenberg in our studios in L.A. Possession here from Panama. The other night, U.S. only led 1-0 over Mexico at halftime despite domination. This is what the U.S. is doing in the second half. They've got it done tonight, this afternoon in the first half.
And they haven't even been clinical in that final third to think of how many opportunities they have created.
Castillo, that's blocked out by Mewis. Throw in here for Panama in the final minute. Played back into the Panama half for Hine. Back for Bailey. We're going to see about stoppage time, if any would be added. On this right side, Castillo's on the run. Short has gotten back in a hurry. Ashlyn Harris played this one long off the left foot, off Runhell. Fourth official just now puts up the sign for 2 minutes of stoppage time. Short in the USA will have a throw-in. 2 goals for Carly Lloyd, Sam Mewis with 1, Kristen Press with 1, and some big-time saves for the 17-year-old Yenneeth Bailey. Otherwise, who knows what the scoreline would be in the first half. We're in stoppage time. Pulled back by Rangel. That was Batista's pass back for Pinzon. Pinzon tried to go long. It's too long. Mace with the header. That's blocked off Lloyd. Press heading it to herself. Keeps it going forward. Pugh makes the run. Played across. And it bounced true to the goalkeeper instead of to Mallory Pugh. U.S. was looking for that fifth goal right at the end of the half. And that is going to be it for halftime. What a performance from the U.S. Sam U.S. got the game's first one. Press got the last one. And Lloyd had the other two. Stick around after the break. Our AT&T halftime report with Rob Stone, Alexi Lalas, and Megan Klingenberg. It's all USA here in Cary.
The halftime show is brought to you by AT&T. And as expected, the U.S. is running rampant through Group A. Currently, they have a +10 goal difference later tonight on FS2. If Mexico wins or draws with TNT, the states will confirm a semifinal spot next Sunday here on FS1. Again, both semifinal winners automatically advance to next summer's World Cup right here on Fox. And the defending World Cup champs closing in on their 23rd straight game without a defeat. Rob Stone, Megan Klingenberg, Alexi Lawless here with you. Wholesale changes to the U.S. starting 11. It did not impact their ability to find another early lead here in World Cup qualifying. And again, it came courtesy of a set piece.
Yeah, starting off in the 5th minute, Kristen Press with good pace and power makes it easy for Sam Mewis to go up, win the header. You've got to mark the tallest player on the field.
Set pieces continue on here. Carly Lloyd, we're looking at a possibility next summer if this team makes it. Carly Lloyd is a substitute, but you know what? She's starting today. She's making the most out of her opportunities, and certainly this set piece is something that we're going to talk about, and set pieces going forward.
Carly Lloyd again in the 29th minute gets the ball under pressure with a step over, makes her defenders look stupid, plays it in the right-hand corner, and that's why she makes a name to always be on the field.
Goals number 103 and 104 for her career. And then Kristen Press, little breakaway here in the 32nd.
Yeah, this is just route one right down the middle of the field. I love the way she just lets this roll, uses the ball to do the work, and then off to the races. Still plenty of work to be done. Little fake there. Down goes Bailey. Back of the net. Cruising. U.S. is cruising.
Her 46th international goal. Remember, on Thursday, it was only 1-0 at the half for the United States, 4-0 for Jill Ellis' side right now. Size and set-piece success, something that the U.S. Lex has in spades here.
Yeah, why does this game matter? Look, they are, it's overmatched, okay? And it's easy to say it doesn't matter. But this is a team that we know struggles to break down teams, especially when they bunker in. That is going to happen at a certain point. And it might be set pieces, ultimately, when this is all said and done next summer, that rule the day. So the opportunity to have them, generate them, and then make the most of them, even against inferior opposition, is key.
Yeah, when I played on the U.S. team, it was always a big point to make sure that we were the most organized on set pieces every time we stepped on the field. And you can see it when the U.S. steps out there. Everybody knows their role. Everybody's doing their job. And they're making sure that they're taking care of business on set pieces.
Possession, total shots, goals, everything in favor of the U.S. as they continue to drive towards another World Cup qualifying victory. The star of the 2015 World Cup, Carly Lloyd. She's more of a super sub now, but today the captain has flashed in a starting role. She has two. It's 4-0 at the break. Now back out to the two who are going to be calling this one for you in the second half. A sub has been made, and the soon-to-be announced U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer, J.P. Delacamera. Allie Wagner with that one, guys.
Thanks so much, Rob. Appreciate that. Getting ready to start the second half, Allie, and Rose Lavelle will come in for Julie Ertz. How will that change things on the field?
Most likely slides Brian into that 6 role, and then Lavelle will be more of your 10, and U.S. will maintain her 8.
Anxious to see how Pugh and Lavelle work together in this game, or in this half. U.S. leading 4-0. 2 goals for Carly Lloyd. Her 8th and 9th goals in World Cup qualifying, tied for 5th with Tiffany Milbred, soon to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as well, and Christine Lilly. So good company.
And a good Hall of Fame class.
Good candidates this year, yeah. Our friend Brad Friedel, former Fox colleague among them as well.
Way to deflect.
Brian. Short. Getting it wide. See if the U.S. can continue to move that offense like they did. Clicked in that opening half of play. Could have had more goals were not for the play and goal of young Bailey. Hugh cutting. That's very loose defending until that trip. That's a late whistle, but a proper call. Free kick here for the USA.
Pugh already involved in the early goings here. 3 defenders, in fact. She opts to cut inside, and it's that lingering leg right there of Batista that catches her.
Rose Lavelle will take this set piece from about 24, 25 yards away from goal. Will be her first touch in this game. Coming in for Julie Ertz. 4 in the wall for Bailey of Panama.
And this could be one of those where it's the follow-up shot that could prove more dangerous.
A lot of space there for runs. Played across by Lavelle. Lloyd! Great for Lloyd! Right off the training ground. 5-0 U.S.
This is just simple stuff, JP. It's a brilliant ball, in fact, served in by Lavelle. You can see how deep Panama's line is. They're just allowing the U.S. to sit in with pressure, and then Lloyd just escapes her man. Easy slot there for her. Rises up, and again, it's just no one's on her. Clear path to the ball. Little tuck in of the header right underneath Bailey. Trying to stand tall there, but this one eludes her.
Her 10th goal in World Cup qualifying, her 105th goal overall internationally. She continues to move up the scoring charts. A 5-0 lead for the USA. We mentioned Bailey in the first half. She made 8 saves. She had 7 total in her first 3 World Cup qualifying appearances. And many of those saves were spectacular.
It looks like she's going to be called upon this second half plenty more times.
Lloyd with a flick. Coming back to Bailey. First hat trick for Carly Lloyd since 2016. That hat trick versus Thailand. Buis, wide right side. Mallory Pugh, 1v1 at the moment. Try to beat Murillo, place it back outside. Sano with a nice cutting move, and a cutting ball inside for Lavelle. That's blocked. It'll fall for Mallory Pugh. Mace. Bryant. Morgan Bryant. Defended there by a sea of red. Got it wide for Short. Tucking it in. Here's Lloyd. Already with 3 goals. Playing it across. Mallory Pugh. Blocked off the line. Sonnet. That's blocked as well. That last block was by Quintero. Nice move by Sonnet. The recovery from Quintero has help from Mills. As soon as the U.S. loses the ball, too, they immediately try to win it back.
That's a staple in how they play. A lot of it is about where they regain the ball. They opt to do so in the attacking third, as most teams would like to do, but the U.S. is just incredibly efficient at it.
And it's impressive, isn't it, Allie? With a 5-0 lead, there's still that hunger to get to it. No lazy habits that they're picking up.
Sometimes this is when players rise because they know they're going to probably get on the score sheet. When they know they can pick off a pass, there's more reward in their effort typically.
Spoken by a former player. Going inside. There's Bailey to punch it out. Morgan Bryant. Wide for press. Up for Buis. The header wide. Not sure if she was heading that toward goal or towards Carly Lloyd, but either way, it's a goal kick for Bailey. And a rough start for Panama to this half.
And it's a lofty service from Press. That's why Muse can't get a ton on that. Just trying to redirect it into that far post. Not enough pace.
Allie, in a game like this, where it's a lopsided score, if you're Jill Ellis, what are you looking for in this game? Because you have to balance the opponent, the scoreline, all of that stuff.
Well, probably first thing is no injuries. So that means you move the ball quickly. That means you jump. You don't take unnecessary risk. But I think the tempo is something the U.S. has worked on, whether that be offensively or defensively. She wants to see this team continue to dominate and dictate tempo. Play quickly, even if the pressure's not arriving as soon as it might against a Canada, perhaps later in this tournament. And defensively, you touched on it. I mean, to continue to hound and press and win the ball high up on the pitch, less passes to goal, create chances, and then efficiency in the final third. And I think she's seeing maybe two of those three things.
You mentioned Canada. Everyone expects the U.S. to match up at some point with Canada, but in the knockout round, Canada, second place in Group B at the moment. Here's offside. As Press was making a cut, Lloyd was open in front, but it never materialized.
Still good vision, though, from U.S. there. Saw that in the second half of the NWSL season when she started to come back into form. It's her ability to slip people in, to play those cutting balls between the lines, set up her opponent so they don't even have to take players on because suddenly they find themselves in acres of space.
Panama wanted to keep that score as low as they could because of goal differential. It's almost to where Mexico was. That was 6-0, and there's still a lot of time left in this one. And Mexico has a very big game coming up against Trinidad and Tobago. It's a big game for them as well. 7:30 on FS2. Ball's pushed across by Hine. Pinzon gave it away. Morgan Bryant. Run is made. Presses in. Save again. Bailey has been terrific and continues to be. Batista ran into traffic, was bailed out by that foul. Can't say enough good things about a 17-year-old goalkeeper. Sorry, but that's true.
It is remarkable. Robbing some players of padding their stats here today.
In a 5-0 game, we're talking about how good Panama's goalkeeper is. That tells you what kind of a day she has had. Lavelle over the top, looking for Mallory Pugh. Read and cut across by Pinzon. Throw in U.S. Sana will take this throw in. Players are loosening up by the USA bench. I see Lindsay Horan up, Tobin Heath up. You're allowed 3 subs in this competition. Normally in these friendlies that we've seen the USA play, it's been 6. So you have to be a lot more careful with the subs in this tournament. Long throw in there. Up from US. Bailey came out. Flag. No goal. Flag was up. Foul inside. In the 55th minute.
I think Bailey was actually bailed out on this one. You can just see the presence of Sam Ewis' ability back to goal, trying to flick that on. I don't know what they're calling there on Lloyd. If she's coming, yep, she came from an offside position.
Panama will put it back into play. Great day for Carly Lloyd. With 3 goals and could have had more were it not for Bailey at the opposite end. Harris. Her only action tonight has been on back passes, really from her teammates. The U.S. has not allowed Panama anything in their defensive third. Dahlkemper. Mace.
You can hear Ashlyn Harris dictating back there.
Over the top. Lewis makes the run. So does Lavelle. Lewis went down. Lavelle with Lloyd open. Just missed. Carly Lloyd couldn't have been more open. I guess if Lavelle scores there, you can forget about it when you miss.
You got to think twice. And it's Sam Ewis who sets up Lavelle. You can see she's got all eyes for the goal, just trying to glance that into the far post. Bailey would have had it covered anyways, but to your point, JP, should have slipped Lloyd in.
Looked like Lloyd gave her a good wave to say that was okay, if I was reading the body language correctly. Cox trying to settle things down. Foul is called. Free kick for Panama. Going the other way. Is there a way, Allie, for Panama to minimize this damage? They've already given up 5. How can they keep it better, tighter, so that they're not giving up 7, 8, 9?
And it's no disrespect to Panama. I just don't think there is anything tactically that they can shift. I think they're doing their best to keep their lines tight. Pressure's just arriving too late, and I think individually they just can't stand up to the speed, the pace, the precision of the U.S. So even if they are getting there, it's phantom pressure, really.
57th minute, USA with a 5-0 lead over Panama. 3 from Carly Lloyd, 1 from Sam Ewis, and 1 from Kristen Kress. It's a learning day for that man, Victor Suarez. Panama's bench. You still have another game to go, though, as Cox tries to catch Harris off the line. Pretty ambitious. Panama still has to play Mexico. We'll see what happens in that game today, what kind of a Mexico team they may face in Game 3.
And then it's going to perhaps be some consideration to how much minutes he gives to some of these players, whether he opts to start making changes.
He's got 2 subs up now as we speak. Mallory Pugh cutting it back, knocked away by Mills. We are going to see some changes soon for Panama. One of them is their bright goal scorer, Erica Hernandez, who's also just 19 years of age. Mallory Pugh trying to go inside. Almost had Lavelle. Mills cutting it back. Pugh went down. Lavelle keeps it. Drives it across. Press tags it. Didn't hit it as clean as she wanted, but knew what she was doing there. She could have volleyed that one home. There are the 2 subs up. 18 and 19, Hernandez and Cedeno. We're going to see those changes now. Maybe the end of the night for Panama's 11, Natalia Mills, with Hernandez coming in. Hernandez just 19, as we mentioned, 36 goals in Panama, 33 during the regular season, 3 in the playoffs. Also coming out, Carla Riley, so they will save her for that 3rd game. She'll be replaced by an even younger, Lyneth Cedeno, age 17.
Entering the game for Panama, number 19.
And that won't shift things for Panama. Cedeno will slide in up top. Hernandez goes into that wide space.
Ball's going to be deflected out for another corner. Lavelle will be taking it. Everyone up for the U.S. 5-0 lead for the USA. Lit up Mexico for 6 on Thursday night. Lavelle will drive this one. That's headed away, but not out. Lloyd drives it, blocked in front, and cleared away. Thought Lloyd had her 4th goal. Right, it left her foot. Foul on short. Foul Cedeno, who just came into the game. Steve Tobin Heath warming up. Crystal Dunn. Others have been up before for the U.S.
How about that craft from the 17-year-old? Cutting Casey short. Professional foul there to slow down the attack. And I think the U.S. almost was in trouble because this near side, I believe it was Hernandez, had actually gotten in behind Sonnet. One of the things you have to be careful of.
Batista is looking long. That's denied. Lewis clips it ahead. Missed press on that ball. Panama back on it. Lloyd trying to win it back quickly for the U.S. It comes wide, left side. Hernandez spinning away. Cox will play it wide. Murillo. Hernandez is after it. That's Dahlkemper. Lavelle came back to win it for the U.S. Gave it away. His last touch by Dahlkemper, who now must defend against Cox. What a move that was. And then she was held back. It falls. Cedeno, low shot blocked. She keeps going. Pushed through the middle. Batista missed everything. Not sure how. Wide open net for her. She's not sure either.
That was the one for Panama. You talk about being brave and taking players on. It starts in the wide areas with Hernandez, and then it pops out to Cedeno. She cuts her defender. And then it's a poor clearance, really, that lands at the feet of Batista, and she skies that one. What a chance. What a look that was.
By far their best look of the night.
Oh, yeah. That's one you got to put away.
Mace. Lewis. And that's going to go out of play. So Panama done with the subs. U.S. has only made that one change. Lavelle came in for Ertz. Lavelle has quickly established herself in this game with her possession and ball movement. Cutting his view, blocked. Hernandez slips. Lavelle took off with it. Lavelle still has it. Rose Lavelle on the right for this time, slotting it in. It's behind Pugh, left there. Quick chance, Lloyd with a chip off the crossbar, and Pugh puts it over. What a pretty touch that was from Lloyd. It just didn't go. She knows how good that was. It's almost a special goal.
It was. There were multiple good touches. How about that one from Pugh behind her standing leg? And then Lloyd has time and space. Great awareness to try to chip that one up and over. Bailey, who's off her line, the recognition. But Pinzon also read it well to cover in behind. And then from one end to the other, both players skying their opportunities.
U.S. has not let up at all. Up by a 5-0 score here. Sonnet up the middle. Lloyd continues to find that space. This time double teamed and lost it.
I think she's actually been more effective when she's staying up high on between the center backs, making that run outside of Murillo into that wide channel on that left side when she's getting it into the 18.
That's her position now, though, right? Before she was more of a midfielder, attacking midfielder, if you will, but now she's higher up.
Yeah, it seems to be the way that Jill Ellis wants to utilize her, and I think you can point to versatility being something that she has going for her, that she can slot back into midfield in situations where substitutions are limited and you have to make some changes. But absolutely.
She scored 3 goals today. Could have had at least 5, if not more. No exaggeration. Casey short on the ball.
And I think her movement on that back line has been incredibly bright.
On this right side, it's Rangel pushing it back. Batista lost it in that spot because Lloyd could start the counter with one pass. To Pugh. Mallory, 1v1. Nice job defending as it's knocked away. Gathered back in by Lavelle. It's going to go out. So Pinzon made the play.
I think Murillo's actually stood her own tonight against Pugh on the right side.
So US throwing for Mallory Pugh. He plays for the Washington Spirit, NWSL. She too missed a lot of time this year due to injury. I think that Mallory Pugh is so young, and she is, but we mentioned the 8 teenagers on Panama's squad.
And they've only gotten younger with each substitution.
Including Hernandez on the ball. Cox. And Rangel. This is better from Panama. Castillo. Up on this right side. Cut off. Cedeno fights. Can't win it. The U.S. continues to win these battles in the USA midfield. Dahlkemper. U.S. finding space in that seam. Going right. Here's Pugh. Defended by Murillo. She cuts inside of her. Pugh got it. Lavelle. Left puts it up. Lloyd. Flag stays down. Lloyd played it across. Pugh trying to make something out of that. Up the middle. Cox. Cut off again. Mears. going to go on a play. Let's go downstairs and hear from Alex Curry.
But we saw Panama's head coach, Victor Suarez, do something we're not used to seeing, and that was having an open training prior to their first match. Every other team in this group only had the first 15 minutes open to the media, but he mentioned on multiple occasions that it was important his players get this exposure because this is a first experience for many of their players, with the average age on the team being 21 and a half, including the youngest player in this tournament, Shayla Diaz, who just turned 13 years old. Now, they also have a lot of Panama players who admire girls on the U.S. team, he said, and they were very excited to have this opportunity to play one of the strongest teams in the world.
Thank you, Alex. Imagine, Allie, a 13-year-old on a national team. I mean, that's
unheard
unimaginable,
of. Yeah.
right? But it's happened with Panama. And it's a good experience, even though maybe the idea was never to play her, regardless.
Right.
She's training with the team. She's watching from the bench, watching the highest level in terms of the USA. She's got to learn.
Well, that was one of the things he said, too, was success for us is getting close to qualifying. It's working on, yes, can we create opportunities here and now, but it's about the future.
Ball is pushed back to Ashlyn Harris. The future looks okay with a goalkeeper. She's only going to get better. She's 17 and so many great saves this afternoon.
And I like some of the confidence you see out of these players, whether it's Hernandez or Cedeno who just subbed in. You saw the craft that they have in their boots.
Cox leaves it off. Right side, Rangel. Back to Marta Cox. Gave it away too easily there to Morgan Bryant. Dawn Kemper. Too far for Pugh. Almost got it, though. 68th minute. USA with a 5-0 lead over Panama. A hat trick for Carly Lloyd. The turn by Cedeno, she got sandwiched and crunched by Lavelle and Sonnet.
And successfully draws the foul. Again, it's just a little thing, but she's got two players. Initially sends Sonnet the wrong way with that cutback, and then she's trying to slice between two, and you're either going to win that, you're going to slice through, or you're going to draw the foul. She does the latter.
Panama will have a free kick when play resumes. U.S. still has made just that one change, and you wonder, maybe Jill Ellis will just take a look and see who looks like they need a breather as opposed to something tactical. Still see Moran warming up, probably longer than most others have. Free kick, Cox. Headed up. Short. One swing and a miss. Cut off there. Played across, and that's wide of Harris, but it was deflected out. It's a corner for Panama. Rangel will go over to take it. Had a hat trick in a recent game against El Salvador. Driven across by Rangel. Cedeno is up for it. Driven in. Oh, saved by Harris. That's her first one. That's off Quintero. That was a good effort from Panama. And it's tough for any goalkeeper when you've not been tested to have to face a tester like that. Set across by Hine. On Fernandez. Batista. Panama's not as good as Mexico player-wise, but I see better ball movement, don't you, from them than Mexico the other night?
Way better possession. And I go back to bravery being a key word, and that ball goes awry. But oftentimes they're playing to the right spaces, the right foot.
Lavelle, full speed ahead. Lavelle getting wide, and that trip should be a yellow card. Clearly, Lavelle would have been free. Yellow on Catherine Castillo.
Sometimes I forget how fast Lavelle is because she's so good on the ball, but you can just see how quick her feet move, and then she has got that pull-away pace, and Castillo knows she's beaten, has to take her down. Right decision by the referee to Carter.
Free kick coming up for the USA. Dahlkemper just got some instruction from Jill Ellis on the sideline. She drifts back out. Lavelle from beyond 30 yards out. Unique Bailey still trying to set up this wall. On that whistle, Lavelle will strike. Floats one right at goal. Not sure if Brett Hell was expecting that. Or Bailey was expecting that off Lavelle. It was right to her. Batista. Murillo. Inson. Cox. Another foul. Cox is going to be spoken to. Free kick U.S. 72nd minute. Still have a couple of more subs to make if they choose. Do the restart again. Lavelle take another. Second inning coming up on FS2. Mexico, TNT, FS2, 7:30. Pushed across. Lavelle leaves it for Dahlkemper. Right now, Lindsey Horan is being spoken to on the sideline by the USA coaching staff. This video coming in. Here's Brian. Flicking in. Lloyd was going for it. So to the goalkeeper. Now the chip. And that's going to be wide. Kept in. Hugh. Sixth goal. Panama looked dazed and confused there. And Bailey's down again. A half dozen goals in this one.
And this is one that Bailey comes off her line. It's a quick combo straight up the middle. His touch just lands right in behind the back line that Lloyd's closing in on, and she runs right into Bailey, and you just think the referee might have to blow this play dead because, in fact, the goalkeeper's down in a heap. But she doesn't impute, sets up her touch nicely, and then slots that one in. A lot of margin for error there between those two defenders.
Not deflected into. Mallory Pugh with that goal. It's her 13th international goal. 6-0 USA. So 12 goals in this tournament. Second game, yet to concede.
Now the margin.
Looking sharp.
Yeah, but the margin for Panama the same as Mexico's match at this point. So, high boot.
See it again.
And Lloyd does, in fact, pull her leg back.
She do have to blow the whistle there, though, right?
I think so.
That's at least the third time that Bailey's been down today. While she's down there, let me ask you about the rest of the tournament. U.S. rested players today. You would assume that they come back with a lot more of their regulars for that next game and then into the knockout. So how do they manage this 5 games in 14 days?
Well, to this point, they're doing it brilliantly, dominating with basically 2 full sets of starters with the 9 changes today. But I think you go into that third game, you start to bring in what you believe is your core starters back into the fold, and so they have their rhythm going into what is going to be the knockout stages. And then it's just about getting results, obviously, at that point, and game management, depending upon who comes out of Group B in 1 or 2. Obviously, the U.S. wants to come out 1. He predicted there's going to be a Costa Rica or perhaps a Jamaica who looked to put up a stiff test for Canada the other night.
Yeah, Canada didn't look as good as we expected, but it's only 1 game. New coach, right? It's only a 2-0 win. Tough to tell. What do you make out of Costa Rica laying up Cuba? I mean, Cuba's one of those teams that you think they're going to concede a lot of goals.
Yeah, I just don't think there was a lot of learning points for the U.S. in terms of opponent tactics yet and who they might potentially face in that semifinal or final match. But I do think how they've dominated tonight again against Mexico, with the way they've played the U.S. has got to put a lot of fear into the opponents of everyone in Group B. And obviously Trinidad and Tobago for that third group stage match.
I wonder if that discussion is about not blowing the whistle when the goalkeeper was down.
VAR. We need VAR.
There's no video review or any of that.
We need it.
But I think she's waving it off. She is. She waved it off. So she had a conversation with the assistant referee, and they made that determination. But I think, Alan, according to what you said, what I thought too, it was the right call.
I think it is the right call. And it's a gift of hope for Panama now. One less goal conceded to this point compared to Mexico.
It's the fourth official that was talking to her, not the assistant referee. So let me correct that on this near sideline, who was right next to Lindsey Horan, who was getting ready to sub in. Let's see who's going to come out. So well done. We still need VAR at the World Cup, so let's lobby for it for the women's game. Let's start right now.
All right, I'll start a petition.
Listen up, FIFA. It's needed in the women's game, same as the men. It worked for the men, it will work for the women. Let's bring it to France.
Equality. Isn't there a tagline, something about that?
I think so. Dahlkemper out, Horan in. How do you see the U.S. changing now?
Looks like immediately they're going into a 3-back.
So is this one of those situational things that you were talking about before, if needed in a game?
Again, it's another 3-3-4 formation almost, it looks like, where it's presenting as such with double nines, pushing to get a goal.
Here's Pugh. One was taken away. Will she get one here? It's wide. It's a pass, though, and sent over. Kristen Press, who's had a good game, just missing there.
Long cue off of a goal kick, in fact. They just come storming down the middle. Far too easy. I mean, there's a lot of space there, and then you can see the breakaway pace that Pugh has, trying to lay that in stride for Press. Can't catch up to it. Sliding to it. Oh, it's the half bounce that catches her.
Press with one goal today, her 46th international goal. All USA today. It's a 5-0 lead. One was taken away. Ball set in. There's Pugh. What a setup off the top of the post as well, and cleared out. Even when they miss, it's exciting.
It's because Bailey, she did just enough there again, coming off her line, distracting Pugh. She's gonna need an ice bath after tonight.
This ball is bouncing, cleared away by Cox. I know you covered the NWSL this year. An NWSL coach has to be thinking, this is a 17-year-old kid. Why not bring her in at some point for a tryout? What do you have to lose?
And,
right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think there isn't a great amount of depth in the goalkeeper position in the league. More to your point.
I'm certainly not saying she starts. Not even saying she makes a roster, but I would give her a look. For sure. Just to see. Short. It's going to be a throw in here for Panama. Of course, we're basing it off of this performance, but it's just a look.
Maybe you should be our agent.
Maybe.
Hall of
I'm kind of
Famer
busy right
/
now.
agent.
I'm kind of busy right now, but I'll take it on as a favor to you. All right, so what do we look forward to here? 80th minute. How should the USA close this? They may make one other change, but what do you want to see out of them?
Well, with the double 9 formation that they have in their 3-3-4, you're going to want to see a lot of balls lofted into that target area. The interplay of Lloyd and Horan, how is their movement off of each other with one checking, one spinning? Obviously getting the ball into those wide areas with Pugh and Press, the ability to serve it.
What's the difference in Horan this year and all the goals that she scored for Portland?
I would go to efficiency, but I think the impetus is there to make those runs out of midfield. I think her timing and technique is even improved, even though she was a threat before in the air.
Pugh versus Murillo.
But I think I was even more impressed with her ability just to dictate play for Portland.
League MVP.
And the defensive work she did. We don't even speak to it.
Lofted for Lloyd off the chest. Turns. And that was offside netting, it looked like, but I thought she was going to take that down with one touch.
I'm with you. I thought she was just going to cure that one in with her head. What a ball in by Haran. That's another thing that she brings to the game, her range. I mean, this one just drops in perfectly. Poor recovery, obviously, by Panama. They're gassed.
Ball comes out to short. She's going to take it on her own. It's off Mewis. She recovers it. Quick shot there, and it's stopped again by Bailey.
And smartly, that is a smart, young 17-year-old. She falls to the ground. She catches it cleanly and then falls to the ground to just eat up a little more clock.
82nd minute. All USA, a 5-0 lead. One goal was taken away, but we think legitimately for a foul with the goalkeeper down. After the discussion between the match referee and the fourth official. Here's Cox leading it. Murillo out wide. 1 against 2 now as the U.S. will try to close. That's good collective team defending. He took away a potential chance for Panama.
I think Murillo would have been better served to place that one in the box sooner.
See Haran driving across.
There's that range.
And then left side to the end line. The U.S. will drop it back. Intended for Mewis. Ball is still loose. The fight from Mewis. Finally loses it, but she was 1 against 4. Panama back on the ball in the 83rd minute. Rangel, if she could have received that ball, might have been off to the races.
That was actually a poor decision by Mace. She jumped the pass. She bit, thinking it wasn't going to go in essentially to Rangel. Wasn't made to pay, though.
See Haran. Ahead off Lloyd. It almost fell to Pugh. Off the right foot. I'm fascinated just watching her tonight.
To collect that back pass?
Ball laid in. The cut. Press. Looking. Up high. Great work rate this afternoon from Press.
Yeah, even in that last attack, she just blew by the defense down that left side. Here she opts to cut it back. Could have perhaps slipped in Pugh, but looking for her own shot there, falling away from it, hard to get over it.
The goal kick for Panama.
Still hanging tough at that 5-0 scoreline.
Yep. Mexico's on after this versus TNT, an important clash for both in Group A, 7:30 on FS2. Ball loose. Gathered in. The U.S. fighting for it. Still fighting, but it's finally won by Panama. Not for long. You track back. They're still relentless on defense, even up 5-0. Q and others just don't give up on these balls.
Well, what did you say at the beginning of this match? A lot of these players are fighting for starting spots. You can't afford to give up. Even though you're up 5-0, you've got to continue to have that work rate and impress in the minutes you are given.
A lot of celebrities tonight, right? Mia Hamm is here, we saw. Christine Lilly. El Presidente up here in the press box. Fernando Fiore, right?
Yeah.
Sharing the spotlight with the other two that I mentioned.
And of course, the Hall of Famer, JP Delacamera, right next to me.
Not yet. Short on the ball. Switching it. That's too far even from the night that Kristen Press has had. She's not going to get to that ball. 85th minute. USA just trying to close it out. Short on it. What do you take out of this game, Allie, from start to finish? 5-0.
That the U.S. is better than Panama.
What else? Give me more. Give me more.
Really, they know how they want to play. The U.S. looks sharp. They look efficient. It doesn't even matter. 9 changes, and they really didn't step off the gas pedal at all from opening match against Mexico. I think there's a lot of variety and versatility with this group, whether it be Lloyd slotted into that center forward position, whether they go into forefront when they need to push to get a goal. I think Casey Short, you know, it's a welcoming party for Haley Mace. She hasn't been tested much, but a good opportunity to learn.
All the players that we talked about that were injured coming into this, all seem to have played well and getting a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, the only player that I think we just didn't see and perhaps enough from tonight is Pugh, in fact. I think she could have been brighter on the wing. I think she is a fantastic player. I think the sky is the limit for her. I just don't know that she imprinted in this right wing the way that Press did in that first half on the left side. I think more of it filtered through the right in the second half, but I don't know it was because of Pugh's presence, more of perhaps Lavelle slotting in and being that option in this wide or this center midfield in the right.
Where does her game need to go? I've seen her improve since she was 17, but where else? What's the next level for her? How did she get better?
Her impact tonight could have been bigger, right? This is a game where she should be dicing up the right back. She cut inside a ton. Instead of just going around the edge, she's got the pace, she's got the skill to beat the player 1v1, but she opted to go into cover. So I think it's just those decision-making ability in certain situations that can go to the next level. And then occasionally leave your right wing spot. Press did it, float across the pitch, make an overload.
What a ball from Horan. There is Pugh behind the defense with a step there. Pinzone is coming. Pugh drives it across. It's blocked. Could have been an own goal. But Horan, again, as she was going down, found a way to get that ball ahead to Pugh.
You saw it. There's the range. Just drops this one in, and then Pugh's got acres of space. Gets her head up. She doesn't have the near post runner, so she's trying to bend that far into Lloyd's path. Can't get it around that retreating second defender in Hine.
All the way back to Ashlyn Harris. One big save she had to make. Granted, the score was 5-0, which is protecting that shutout. This could be the fourth straight for the U.S. Horan. That's blocked. Lavelle goes for it. Pinzone. In the 88th minute, Horan again on the ball. Left off there. Lavelle. Crafty move. Gets it on that favored left. Puts it across. Laid off by Lloyd for Press. And she was looking for Horan to the back post. Some of the best passing sequences tonight have resulted in no goal.
That's a fair point, and I thought Lloyd was perhaps too unselfish here, setting up Press. You know what she's trying to do, just curl it into that far post. Can't get enough action on it.
It's tough to get minutes up top, and we were talking before about Rapinoe, Heath, and Morgan all playing fantastic individually, but also that teamwork, especially with Rapinoe and Morgan, because they've been together longer.
Yeah, there's just a chemistry that has been built between those three, and you can get it in training, and these three are going to be playing and training together with Pugh, Lloyd, and Press, so there is going to be a comfort level there, but nothing replicates the game situation.
Suarez still encouraging his team. He's clapping. He's encouraging them. Even down by 5-0. He's seeing some things.
And again, a better scoreline than Mexico walked away with at this point.
Mace for short. Spinning in the circle. Finding Morgan Bryan. Driven by Mace. Finding Mewis. Mewis looks ahead. The turn by Horan. Finds the right option in Press. Lloyd and others go for goal, but the flag was up. Offside, U.S. Not sure who was offside there. At least 5 players made runs at the same time.
I think they flagged Press for it on that far side, and
yeah,
it's tight. It's tight. I think Murillo might have kept them on, both her and Lloyd. But that's the beauty of playing with the double nines. Horan's checking off, but you still have Lloyd crashing in. You still have 3 people on that restraining line if that pass connects.
All the way upfield. Right up the middle. Oh, the look was for Cedeno. Mewis turning, leaving it for short. Cox for Panama. Almost at 90 minutes. We'll see about stoppage time. Foul was given there. 3 minutes, minimum of 3. Added on here in stoppage time from Cary, North Carolina. Again, following us, 7:30 FS2. Must-win game, really, for both of those teams. Mexico versus Trinidad and Tobago. More so for Mexico, Ali. I'm interested in their response because they have more talent.
Absolutely, the pressure's on them.
Morgan Bryant, jersey tug and a half. Up it comes. Horan inside the box, cutting. Trying to play it across, earns a corner. In stoppage time. U.S. will take their time here. A 5-0 lead. Scored a couple of goals already off the corners in the first half. Some warnings being given. Morgan Bryant among those being spoken to. Off this corner, driven near post, it falls to the middle. Instead, Morgan Bryant got underneath it, over the bar. Goal kick coming up as the referee has looked at the watch. Time running out.
Yeah, Horan got free because Pugh picked off her defender for her. Can't connect as that one glances by.
Put back in play by Yenith Bailey. First half save she made. This ball is cleared ahead. Should be just seconds left in this. Sonnet going forward. Lavelle pressed back. Looks over the top for Mallory Pugh. By the corner flag. Cut inside. No foul given. Batista. Cox. Out wide for Rangel. 1v2 at the moment. And that ball is given away. Got a closing thought?
The U.S. just looks like a well-oiled machine. I mean, really, I know the opponents are not at their level, but the U.S. is proving that they're not. And oftentimes, we've had slip-ups in the past where you don't perform as well when the pressure isn't great, when the team isn't as technically sound. And I think the U.S. is keeping their standard incredibly high, and they're managing this tournament to this point very well.
Horan may have another chance before it ends. Lindsey Horan holding. Unselfishly tried to give it away. It's Lavelle picking it up. The shot was blocked. Rangel will pick it up. Push forward to Cox. That will do it. Final whistle. And they kept the better scoreline than Mexico. We saw some good things tonight from Panama, but so many great things from the USA in this 5-0 win over Panama. Yenith Bailey with a great night in goal despite giving up all of those goals. Hat-trick tonight for Carly Lloyd. Press had one, US had one as we get ready to turn things back to LA and Rob Stone.
JP, thanks. Megan and Alexi have joined me right now as we take in the live images from Kerry. So a 6-0 victory over Mexico on Thursday, 5-0 today. The U.S. in firm control of Group A. We will know in about 2 hours' time if they've already booked a semifinal spot. Lex, no real change to that outlook and attitude that they've shown to start qualifying.
We talked about this team under Jill Ellis not taking anything for granted and understanding the job ahead. And yes, as Ali rightly mentioned, playing an inferior opponent, and they came out, they were professional, they got the job done, they did exactly what needed to be done, but they did it in a way that, yes, it was patterns, but ultimately I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can glean as far as going forward, but job well done.
Yeah, and the biggest takeaway for me has to be the depth of this U.S. team. There was 9 changes to the starting lineup, and they were still moving the ball quickly. They were breaking lines. They were getting forward and getting in on attack. Credit to that second group.
A couple nice shots of the Panamanian keeper, Yenith Bailey, being helped off the field. Imagine what the scoreline would have been without her. We're actually going to give her a little TLC coming up a little bit, but Jill Ellis, another big victory. Coming up next over on FS2, Mexico, Trinidad, Tobago. That's the other Group A encounter today. A Mexico victory or draw on that one would mean that the U.S. would clinch a semifinal berth now that they've notched their second straight win here in qualifying. Carly Lloyd, her 8th international hat trick. All U.S. today. More reaction from the win and full match highlights coming your way next.
Hey guys, just want to give a huge shout out for all the support tonight. We got that job done. Now it's on to Trinidad and Tobago.